Today I will be talking about branding as our teach it to us topic and how branding is important and can make or break a company, the types of branding, the levels of branding, and the phases of branding that a company can go through. I'll give some examples of branding fails, branding wins, and overall just the history and what branding means to, again, public relations and a company. So branding creates an identity for the mind, for the business, and keeping a target audience in mind on who they want to target their company towards and their product. This is all done through logo, visual design, the mission, the tone of voice. And branding is so important because of the advantage it gives to the company when you know a company or when you know a product by a company, the company has that advantage and can even lower the prices for consumers, making it better on both ends. And this is done through storytelling, relationships with the consumers, and again, visuals. So there's four types of branding, three levels of branding, and three phases of branding. So the types of branding we have are corporate. You look at Microsoft, L'Oreal, these are corporate brands that you think of Microsoft, and through their brand, you know that it's technology. L'Oreal, you know, is soap. And they kind of go deeper in when you start talking more about them. You have personal brands such as Bill Nye, the Science Guy. His brand is science. You have any of your favorite YouTubers you think of, what type of brand they want to promote themselves as, and any types of talk show hosts as well. They all have to maintain their personal brands in order to connect with consumers. Product brands such as Apple, Nike, Coca-Cola, anything that you associate a product with a name is going to be a product brand. When you think of shoe, you might think of Nike. When you think of soda, you might think of Coca-Cola. So this is a product brand. And we have service brand. So when a company uses a service brand, this is when they offer any type of service through their company, through the company or through the product. So Durex offers SOS condom deliveries. Charmin has an app that locates public clean toilets. These kind of service brands help a brand promote what they're trying to sell to consumers through services. So the levels of branding we have are three. It's going to be core product. So we have eyeshadow palettes and will make the buyer more attractive. New phones will help more efficient communication. What is a core product that we're trying to sell here for what reason? And then you have the actual product, the physical appearance of the product, example, the packaging, how we're promoting when people see it in stores. And then the augmented product, the free services that come with the product, maybe a free gift, a little sample. Sometimes when you order so much, you get free shipping, free little side anything. Let's say you order this big set of pots and pans, you might get a little recipe book with it as well, just as a quick thank you. Again, promoting the brand as happy, good, connecting with the customers. And then you have the phases of branding, which determine your target audience, develop brand identity, and communicate with your target audience. Branding is all about communicating with your target audience and ensuring that you have one to ensure that you're selling a product to the consumers. Um, so where did branding actually come from? Well, this was due to the rise of capitalism, which needed advertising. And so there's a modern way of capitalism that was, again, in need of this branding. This was to ensure that consumers could focus their attention to identify an item and identify the company with the item. We see this branding of unmarked items such as work clothes come to fruition in the early stages of capitalism and the Industrial Revolution as well. When the product is identified with the brand, the marketers grow in their power. Again, brands want to be identified by the product and not by the brand, because when you think of a product, you'll instantly think of the brand, which is good, and it puts the again the company at an advantage. Because branding requires advertising, it will have a little bit of a higher price, but if it's done right, you can actually lower the price and again, better for the consumer, the brand. It builds that relationship, the trust, and the credibility. So there actually has been some branding fails. Branding can be a two-edged sword if done incorrectly. So McDonald's Arch Deluxe is a good example of this branding fail. McDonald's came out with this burger that had a certain sauce that was promoted for adults only. In the brands and the advertising, it showed younger uh, adults, children eating this, like the burger with the sauce, and they were kind of grossed out, but the adults really enjoyed it in these advertisements. But at the end of the day, with the loss of $100 million, McDonald's realized that adults just want McDonald's. They want what they go in for, as always, nothing special, nothing crazy. It's just McDonald's. But there are many branding wins. Nike's Just Do It helped encapsulated the audience. The famous Just Do It that Nike goes by now, it encapsulated the audience and it helped empathize with the brand. Create kind of, again, you think of Just Do It, you think of Nike, which is what companies are shooting for when trying to brand. You think of one thing and it leads you to think of them. So overall, the customers are the deciding factor of what is said and thought about the brand and the impression in their head when they hear the business's name. The feeling and experience is good or bad a consumer has had with the brand personally is also a determining factor. So a brand can only do so much. It at the end of the day comes down to the consumer. This is why target audiences are so important for brands or for the branding of a company. So again, in order to help boost a company's credibility, to boost their relationships with their consumers, branding plays a big important role.